Welcome to MindAlchemy Growth Forge, where ancient wisdom meets modern transformation. I'm thrilled you've joined me today for this comprehensive journey through the 7 Hermetic Principles. Over the next hour or so, we're going to dive deep into wisdom that has shaped the understanding of reality for thousands of years. These aren't just philosophical concepts. They're practical tools that can revolutionize how you think, feel, and create your life experience. Each principle we'll explore has been tested by countless individuals throughout history, and today, modern science is confirming what the ancient masters knew all along. Before we begin, I want you to approach this with both an open mind and a practical focus. These principles work, but only when you apply them. So as we move through each one, I'll be giving you specific exercises and real-world applications you can start using immediately. Let's start with a fundamental question. What if everything you've been taught about how reality works is only scratching the surface? What if there are deeper laws governing your experience that, once understood, give you tremendous power to shape your life? The 7 Hermetic Principles answer these questions. They come from ancient Egyptian wisdom, passed down through the ages and codified in a text called the Kybalion. But don't let their ancient origins fool you. These principles are as relevant today as they were thousands of years ago. The word Hermetic comes from Hermes Trismegistus, the thrice great Hermes, a legendary figure who is said to have lived in ancient Egypt. Whether he was a real person or a representation of collective wisdom, the principles attributed to him have influenced everything from alchemy to modern quantum physics. What makes these principles so powerful is their universality. They apply to every aspect of existence, from the movement of planets to the thoughts in your mind, from the growth of businesses to the dynamics of relationships. They are the operating system of reality itself. Today we're going to explore not just what these principles are, but how to apply them practically in your daily life. By the end of this presentation, you'll have a complete toolkit for conscious creation and personal transformation. Principle 1. Mentalism, the power of consciousness. The first principle states, the all is mind, the universe is mental. From the Kybalion. This is perhaps the most fundamental principle, and understanding it changes everything about how you view your relationship to reality. Here's a story that illustrates this principle. Sarah was convinced she was unlucky in love. She'd had a series of relationships that ended the same way, with partners who were emotionally unavailable. Sarah would often say, "I just attract the wrong people. It's not my fault." But when we examine this through the lens of the principle of mentalism, we discover something profound. Her mind, her beliefs, expectations, and unconscious assumptions was literally creating her romantic experiences. She believed deep down that she wasn't worthy of a truly committed relationship. This belief acted like a mental magnet, drawing her toward people who would confirm her unconscious expectation. Here's what's fascinating about the mind. It doesn't distinguish between what you consciously want and what you unconsciously expect. Your subconscious mind is like a faithful servant that works tirelessly to prove your deepest beliefs. Right, even when those beliefs don't serve you. Dr. Bruce Lipton's research in epigenetics shows us that our beliefs literally influence our biology. When you believe something deeply enough, your brain creates neural pathways that support that belief, and your body chemistry changes to match your mental state. This is mentalism at the cellular level. But here's the empowering part. If your mind is creating your experience, then by changing your mind, you can change your experience. This isn't positive thinking. It's understanding that consciousness is the fundamental building block of reality. Let me give you a practical exercise. Think of an area in your life where you're not getting the results you want. Now, instead of focusing on the external circumstances, ask yourself, what would I have to believe about myself or life for this to be my experience? Often you'll discover a limiting belief running in the background. Maybe you believe success requires struggle, or that you're not smart enough, or that good things don't last. Once you identify these mental patterns, you can begin to consciously replace them. The ancient Hermetic masters understood that mastery begins with mastery of mind. They developed practices like meditation, visualization, and mental discipline, not as spiritual bypassing, but as practical tools for reality creation. Here's a powerful exercise you can start today. For the next week, spend 10 minutes each morning visualizing your ideal day before it begins. See yourself moving through your day with confidence, having positive interactions, accomplishing your goals. Feel the emotions of success, fulfillment, and joy as if they're already happening. Your subconscious mind will begin to accept this vision as true and will start organizing your thoughts, actions, and even opportunities to match this mental template. This is the principle of mentalism in action. But let's dive deeper into how this works. The mind operates on multiple levels simultaneously. You have your conscious mind, the part that's listening to me right now, making decisions and analyzing information. This represents about 5% of your total mental activity. Then you have your subconscious mind, which handles about 95% of your mental processing. This is where your beliefs, habits, emotional patterns, and automatic responses live. The subconscious doesn't reason or judge, it simply executes programs based on what it believes to be true. Here's a crucial insight. Your subconscious mind is constantly scanning your environment for evidence that supports your existing beliefs. If you believe you're lucky, you'll notice lucky breaks and opportunities. If you believe you're unlucky, you'll notice obstacles and setbacks. The external world remains essentially the same, but your mental filter determines what you perceive and therefore what you experience. This is why two people can go through the exact same situation and have completely different experiences. One person might see a job loss as a disaster, while another sees it as an opportunity for a career change. One person might interpret a relationship ending as proof they're unlovable, while another sees it as clearing space for a better match. The principle of mentalism teaches us that we're not victims of our circumstances. We're creators of our experiences through the power of our mental states. This places tremendous responsibility on us, but also tremendous power. Research in neuroscience shows that when someone focuses on abundance and opportunity, their brain literally becomes more creative and solution-oriented. Conversely, when someone focuses on scarcity and problems, their brain becomes more reactive and stress-oriented. Here's how to apply mentalism in different areas of life. For career success, instead of focusing on what's wrong with your current job or what you lack, spend time each day visualizing yourself in your ideal career. See yourself performing at your best, being recognized for your contributions, and enjoying your work. Feel the emotions of success and fulfillment. This mental rehearsal prepares your mind to recognize and seize opportunities that align with your vision. For relationships, rather than focusing on what's wrong with your current relationships or dwelling on past hurts, visualize yourself in healthy, fulfilling relationships. See yourself communicating effectively, giving and receiving love freely, and enjoying deep connections with others. Your mind will begin to attract people and situations that match this mental template. For health and wellness, instead of focusing on symptoms or what's wrong with your body, visualize yourself as healthy, energetic, and vibrant. See yourself making healthy choices, enjoying physical activities, and feeling strong and vital. Your mind-body connection will begin to support this vision. For financial abundance, rather than worrying about money or focusing on what you lack, visualize yourself as financially secure and generous. See money flowing to you easily and you using it wisely. Feel the emotions of security and abundance. This mental state will help you notice and create opportunities for increased income and better financial decisions. The key to applying mentalism effectively is consistency and emotional engagement. It's not enough to simply think positive thoughts. You must feel the emotions associated with your desired outcomes. Emotion is the language of the subconscious mind, and it's what gives your mental images the power to reshape your reality. Here's an advanced exercise for applying mentalism. Choose one area of your life where you want to see significant change. For the next 21 days, spend 15 minutes each morning and 15 minutes each evening doing the following. 1. Relax your body and quiet your mind through deep breathing. Visualize your desired outcome as if it's already happening. Engage all your senses. What do you see, hear, feel, smell, taste? 4. Most importantly, feel the emotions of already having what you want. 5. End each session with gratitude for this reality already being yours. This isn't wishful thinking. It's mental conditioning. You're literally rewiring your brain to support your desired reality. The more consistently you do this, the more your external circumstances will begin to align with your internal vision. Principle 2. Correspondence. As above, so below. The second principle teaches us. As above, so below. As below, so above. From the Kybalion, this principle reveals that patterns repeat across all levels of existence, from the cosmic to the personal, from the external to the internal. Your life is a perfect mirror of your inner world. Everything you experience externally corresponds to something internal. This isn't about blame or judgment, it's about empowerment. When you understand correspondence, you realize that you have far more control over your circumstances than you might have thought. Here's a story that illustrates this principle. Michael was a successful businessman who couldn't understand why his personal relationships were chaotic, even though he was disciplined and organized in his professional life. He had clear boundaries at work, but none at home. He demanded excellence from his employees, but accepted disrespectful behavior from family members. When we examine this through the lens of correspondence, we can see that his external relationships were reflecting his internal relationship with himself. At work, he respected his own time and energy. At home, he didn't. The chaos in his personal relationships was corresponding to the lack of internal boundaries he had with his own self-care and personal standards. This principle shows up everywhere once you know how to look for it. If someone is experiencing financial struggle, examining their relationship with their own value and worth often reveals the correspondence. If someone is having communication problems with others, looking at how they communicate with themselves, is their internal dialogue supportive or critical, often shows the pattern. Here's a profound realization. You can't give to others what you don't give to yourself, and you can't receive from others what you don't believe you deserve. Your external relationships will always correspond to your internal relationship patterns. The beautiful thing about this principle is that it works both ways. Just as internal states create external conditions, changing external conditions can shift internal states. This is why practices like organizing your physical space, improving your posture, or changing your environment can have such powerful effects on your mental and emotional state. Let me give you a comprehensive understanding of how correspondence operates in different areas of life. Physical health and inner harmony. Your physical health often corresponds to your emotional and mental state. Chronic tension in your shoulders might reflect carrying too much responsibility. Digestive issues might correspond to difficulty digesting. Life experiences. Headaches might reflect mental stress or confusion. By addressing the inner state, you often see improvement in the physical condition. Here's a story that illustrates this principle. Lisa had chronic lower back pain that doctors couldn't explain. When explored through the principle of correspondence, she realized that she felt like she was carrying the weight of the world. In her family relationships, she was the person everyone turned to for support, but she never asked for help herself. Once she began establishing healthier boundaries and asking for support, her back pain significantly improved. Financial life and self-worth. Your financial circumstances often correspond to your sense of self-worth and your beliefs about what you deserve. People who struggle with money often have deep-seated beliefs about their own value. They might believe they don't deserve wealth, that money is somehow evil, or that they're not capable of managing it well. Conversely, those who have healthy relationships with money usually have a solid sense of their own worth and believe they deserve abundance. They see money as a tool for good and feel confident in their ability to create and manage it. Career success and personal power. Your career trajectory often corresponds to your relationship with your own power and authority. People who struggle to advance in their careers often have issues with owning their power, speaking up for themselves, or believing they deserve recognition. Those who advance easily usually have a healthy relationship with their own authority and feel comfortable being visible and influential. They don't shrink from responsibility or shy away from leadership opportunities. Relationships and self-love. Perhaps nowhere is correspondence more obvious than in relationships. The quality of your relationships with others directly reflects the quality of your relationship with yourself. If you're critical of yourself, you'll either attract critical partners or become critical of others. If you don't trust yourself, you'll have trust issues in relationships. The most loving, supportive relationships happen between people who have developed loving, supportive relationships with themselves. This isn't narcissism. It's healthy self-regard that allows you to love others from a place of fullness rather than neediness. Here's a story that illustrates this principle. Alex noticed that his home office was cluttered and disorganized. He kept meaning to clean it up, but never seemed to have the time. Meanwhile, his thoughts were scattered. He was having trouble focusing on work, and he felt mentally overwhelmed. When Alex applied the principle of correspondence, he realized that his external environment was reflecting his internal state. His cluttered office corresponded to his cluttered mind. He made a decision to spend one weekend completely organizing his workspace, and the effect was remarkable. As his external environment became more organized, his thinking became clearer, his focus improved, and he felt more mentally peaceful. This is a simple example, but it illustrates how powerfully our external circumstances reflect our internal states. Here are some practical ways to apply correspondence. Mirror work. Spend time each morning looking at yourself in the mirror and noticing what you see. Are you kind to yourself? Critical? Encouraging? Harsh? The way you treat yourself in the mirror often corresponds to how you treat yourself throughout the day and how others treat you. Environmental reflection. Look at your living and working spaces. Are they chaotic or organized? Dark or light? Cramped or spacious? Your environment often reflects your inner state. By consciously improving your environment, you can shift your internal experience. Relationship patterns. Notice patterns in your relationships. Do you attract people who are emotionally unavailable, overly critical, controlling? These patterns often correspond to aspects of your relationship with yourself. By healing your inner relationship, you change what you attract externally. Money patterns. Examine your relationship with money. Do you hoard it out of fear, spend it compulsively, feel guilty when you have it? These patterns often correspond to your sense of self-worth and your beliefs about what you deserve. Body patterns. Notice how you carry yourself physically. Do you slouch or stand tall? Make eye contact or look away? take up space, or try to be invisible. Your body language often corresponds to your internal sense of power and self-worth. Here's a powerful exercise for applying correspondence. Choose one area of your external life that you'd like to change. Instead of focusing on changing the external situation directly, ask yourself, what internal state would correspond to the external reality I want to create? For example, if you want to attract more loving relationships, ask, what would my relationship with myself need to look like to attract deeply loving partners? If you want to increase your income, ask, what would my sense of self-worth need to be to feel deserving of greater financial abundance? Then begin working on developing that internal state. As you change internally, your external circumstances will naturally shift to correspond with your new inner reality. The principle of correspondence is ultimately about taking responsibility for your life experience. It's not about blaming yourself for negative circumstances, but about recognizing that you have the power to change your outer world by changing your inner world. Principle 3. Vibration, the power of frequency. Nothing rests, everything moves, everything vibrates. From the Kybalion. This third principle reveals that everything in the universe is in constant motion, vibrating at different frequencies. This includes your thoughts, emotions, and the overall energy you emit. Quantum physics confirms what the Hermetic Masters taught. At the most fundamental level, everything is energy vibrating at different rates. The difference between a thought and a rock isn't the basic substance, they're both energy, but the rate of vibration. Your emotional and mental states have vibrational frequencies. Joy, love, and gratitude vibrate at higher frequencies than fear, anger, and despair. When you understand this, you realize that you have the power to consciously choose your vibrational state, which in turn influences what you attract into your experience. Here's a story that illustrates this principle. Rachel was going through a difficult period in her life, ending a long-term relationship, changing careers, and dealing with financial stress. Her vibrational state was low, and everything in her life seemed to reflect that. She was attracting more problems, difficult people, and frustrating situations. Then Rachel made a decision to consciously raise her vibration, regardless of her circumstances. She started each day with gratitude practice, spent time in nature, listened to uplifting music, and surrounded herself with positive influences. Within weeks, her external circumstances began to shift. New opportunities appeared, she met supportive people, and even the financial situation resolved in an unexpected way. This isn't magical thinking, it's understanding how energy works. When you vibrate at a higher frequency, you become magnetic to experiences that match that frequency, like attracts like at the vibrational level. Let me explain how vibration works in practical terms. Every thought you think, every emotion you feel, every word you speak, and every action you take has a vibrational signature. These vibrations ripple out from you and attract back experiences that match their frequency. High vibration states include love, joy, gratitude, peace, enthusiasm, inspiration, confidence, compassion, creativity, and abundance. These states feel good and tend to attract positive experiences, supportive people, and beneficial opportunities. Low vibration states include fear, anger, resentment, jealousy, worry, depression, guilt, shame, scarcity, and victimhood. These states feel heavy and tend to attract challenging experiences, difficult people, and obstacles. The key insight is that you're not at the mercy of your vibrational state. You can consciously choose to raise it. Here are some practical techniques. Gratitude practice. Gratitude is one of the fastest ways to raise your vibration. When you focus on what you're thankful for, you immediately shift from a state of lack to a state of abundance. Keep a gratitude journal or simply spend a few minutes each day consciously appreciating what you have. Movement and exercise. Physical movement changes your energetic state quickly. When you're feeling low, try dancing, going for a walk, doing jumping jacks, hitting the gym for an intense workout, training hard with weights, or any form of movement that feels good. Motion creates emotion, and you can literally move yourself into a higher vibrational state. The endorphins released during exercise naturally elevate your frequency and boost your mood. Music and sound. Sound is vibration, and music can instantly shift your state. Create playlists of songs that make you feel good and use them strategically when you need a vibrational boost. Singing, chanting, or even humming can also raise your vibration. Nature connection. Spending time in nature naturally raises your vibration. Trees, water, mountains, and open sky all vibrate at harmonious frequencies that can help align your energy. Even a few minutes outside can shift your state. Positive input. Be conscious of what you're putting into your mind. The books you read, the shows you watch, the conversations you have, and the people you spend time with all influence your vibrational state. Choose inputs that elevate rather than drain you. Breathing practices. Conscious breathing is a powerful tool for shifting your vibration. Deep, slow breathing activates your parasympathetic nervous system and naturally raises your frequency. Try the 4-7-8 technique. Inhale for 4 counts, hold for 7, exhale for 8. Visualization. Imagining positive outcomes and feeling the emotions associated with them raises your vibration. When you visualize your goals as already achieved and feel the joy of that accomplishment, you're vibrating at the frequency of your desired reality. Acts of service. Helping others naturally raises your vibration. When you focus on contributing to someone else's well-being, you shift from a self-focused state to a service-focused state, which always feels better and attracts more positive experiences. Now, let's talk about how to apply the principle of vibration in different areas of life. For career and business, instead of approaching your work from a place of have to or stress, find ways to raise your vibration around your career. Focus on how your work serves others, celebrate small wins, and maintain enthusiasm for your goals. When you vibrate at a higher frequency, you attract better opportunities, more supportive colleagues, and increased success. For relationships, the quality of your relationships is directly related to your vibrational state. When you approach relationships from a place of love, appreciation, and genuine interest in others' well-being, you attract people who match that energy. When you're in a low vibrational state of neediness, criticism, or resentment, you attract people who mirror those qualities. For health and wellness, your physical health is influenced by your vibrational state. Chronic stress, anger, and fear lower your vibration and can contribute to illness. Joy, love, and peace raise your vibration and support physical healing. While vibration alone isn't a cure for serious health conditions, it's a powerful complement to medical treatment. For financial abundance, money flows more easily when you're in a high vibrational state. When you feel abundant, grateful, and confident, you make better financial decisions and attract more opportunities for income. When you're in a low vibrational state of scarcity, fear, and worry, you tend to make poor financial choices and repel abundance. Here's a practical exercise for working with vibration. For 1 week, pay attention to your vibrational state throughout the day. Rate it on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being very low, depressed, angry, fearful, and 10 being very high, joyful, loving, peaceful. Notice what tends to lower your vibration: certain people, activities, thoughts, or environments. Also notice what raises your vibration. Then make a conscious effort to spend more time in high vibration states and less time in low vibration states. Create a vibration toolkit, a collection of practices, music, thoughts, or activities that reliably raise your frequency. Keep this toolkit easily accessible and use it whenever you notice your vibration dropping. Remember, you don't need to be in a high vibrational state all the time. That's not realistic or healthy. The goal is to become aware of your vibrational state and to have tools for consciously shifting it when necessary. One important note: sometimes low vibrational states carry important information. Anger might be telling you that a boundary has been crossed. Sadness might be part of a necessary grieving process. Fear might be warning you of a real danger. The key is to feel these emotions fully when they arise, extract their wisdom, and then consciously choose to shift toward a higher vibration. The principle of vibration teaches us that we're not powerless victims of our circumstances. We're energetic beings with the ability to consciously choose our frequency. By raising our vibration, we literally change what we attract into our lives. Principle 4. Polarity, the power of transformation. Everything is dual, everything has poles, everything has its pair of opposites. From the Kybalion. The fourth principle teaches us that what we perceive as opposites are actually two extremes of the same thing, differing only in degree. Hot and cold are both temperatures, just different points on the same scale. Love and hate are both emotional intensity, just pointed in different directions. Success and failure are both outcomes, just different points on the spectrum of achievement. Understanding polarity is incredibly liberating because it means you can transmute any experience by moving along the spectrum toward its positive pole. You don't have to eliminate negative emotions or experiences, you can transform them. Here's a story that illustrates this principle. Tom used to struggle with anxiety, particularly around public speaking. He tried to eliminate the anxiety, but that approach never worked for long. Then he learned about polarity and realized that anxiety and excitement are the same physiological response: increased heart rate, heightened awareness, energized feeling. The only difference is the mental label. Instead of trying to eliminate the anxiety, Tom started consciously moving along the spectrum toward excitement. When he felt that familiar sensation before speaking, he would say to himself, "I'm excited to share this message," instead of, "I'm anxious about messing up." The physical sensation was the same, but by moving along the polarity spectrum, he transformed his experience. This principle is particularly powerful for emotional mastery. Instead of being at the mercy of your emotions, you can learn to consciously shift them along their respective spectrums. Let me give you a comprehensive understanding of how different emotions can be transformed through polarity. Anger to passion. Anger and passion are both forms of intense energy. The difference is in the direction and focus. Anger often arises when we feel powerless or when our values are being violated. Instead of suppressing anger, ask yourself, what am I passionate about that feels blocked or threatened? Then channel that intense energy toward positive action in service of what you care about. Fear to excitement. Fear and excitement are physiologically identical. They both activate your sympathetic nervous system. The difference is in your interpretation. Fear focuses on what might go wrong, while excitement focuses on what might go right. When you feel fear, try asking, what would this feel like if I were excited about the possibilities instead of worried about the problems? Sadness to compassion. Sadness often contains the seeds of deep compassion. When you feel sad, you're opening your heart to pain, either your own or others. Instead of trying to escape sadness, ask yourself, how can this sadness help me connect more deeply with myself or others? Often, sadness can be transformed into compassion, which is a powerful force for healing and connection. Frustration to determination. Frustration is often passion that feels blocked. When you feel frustrated, you care deeply about something, but you're encountering obstacles. Instead of getting stuck in frustration, ask yourself, what do I care about that feels obstructed, and what one action can I take to move forward? Channel that frustrated energy into determined action. Jealousy to inspiration. Jealousy often points to something we desire but believe we can't have. Instead of being tormented by jealousy, use it as information about what you want. Ask yourself, what is this person demonstrating that I would like to develop in my own life? Then let their success inspire your own growth. Worry to preparation. Worry is often caring about the future combined with feeling unprepared. Instead of spinning in worry, ask yourself, what is my concern trying to tell me, and what can I do to prepare? Channel worried energy into productive preparation. Resentment to boundaries. Resentment often arises when we feel violated or taken advantage of. Instead of holding on to resentment, ask yourself, what boundary needs to be established or strengthened? Use the energy of resentment to create healthier boundaries in your relationships. Guilt to learning. Guilt often contains important information about our values and how we want to behave. Instead of drowning in guilt, ask yourself, what is this guilt trying to teach me, and how can I act differently in the future? Transform guilt into wisdom and changed behavior. Here's a powerful technique for working with polarity in real time. The polarity shift process. 1. Notice the emotion you're experiencing and name it. Ask yourself, what is the positive pole of this emotion? 3. Identify what this emotion is trying to tell you or teach you. 4. Ask, how can I honor this emotion's message while moving toward the positive pole? 5. Take one small action that moves you in the positive direction. For example, if you're feeling overwhelmed, 1. I'm feeling overwhelmed. 2. The positive pole of overwhelm is clarity and focus. 3. This overwhelm is telling me I've taken on too much. 4. I can honor this by getting organized and prioritizing. 5. I'll write down everything I need to do and identify the 3 most important items. The beauty of the polarity principle is that it works with your natural emotional energy rather than against it. You're not trying to suppress or eliminate emotions. You're learning to transform them into their positive expressions. Here's a story that illustrates this principle. Jennifer felt stuck in a job she hated. She was angry at her boss, frustrated with her co-workers, and resentful about her situation. She wanted to quit but was afraid of financial insecurity. Instead of telling her to think positive or suppress her negative emotions, we can work with polarity. Her anger revealed that she was passionate about being treated with respect. Her frustration showed that she cared deeply about doing meaningful work. Her resentment indicated that she needed better boundaries around her time and energy. Using these insights, she could identify what she really wanted: a role where she felt valued, engaged in meaningful work, and had appropriate boundaries. Instead of just reacting to what she didn't want, she could begin focusing on what she did want and taking actions to create it. Within 6 months, many people in similar situations have transitioned to new roles that aligned with their values and allowed them to use their talents more fully. The same emotional energy that had been creating suffering when unexpressed became the fuel for positive change when channeled constructively. This brings us to an important point about polarity. You don't need to eliminate the negative pole to experience the positive pole. They're both part of the same spectrum, and both have value. The goal isn't to live in constant positivity. It's to become skilled at moving along the spectrum as needed. Sometimes the negative pole serves important purposes. Anger can motivate you to take action against injustice. Fear can warn you of real dangers. Sadness can help you process loss and change. Frustration can signal that something needs to change. The key is to experience these emotions fully, extract their wisdom, and then consciously choose to move toward the positive pole when appropriate. Here's an advanced exercise for working with polarity. Choose one emotion that you struggle with regularly. Perhaps anger, fear, sadness, or frustration. For the next week, when you notice this emotion arising. 1. Don't judge it or try to make it go away. 2. Ask yourself, what is this emotion trying to tell me? 3. Thank the emotion for its message. 4. Identify the positive pole of this emotion. 5. Take one small action that moves you toward the positive pole. For example, if you often feel angry. 1. Notice the anger without judgment. 2. Ask, what is this anger trying to tell me? Maybe a boundary was crossed. 3. Thank the anger for alerting you to this boundary violation. 4. Identify the positive pole, passion for your values. 5. Take one action that honors your values constructively. The principle of polarity teaches us that we're not victims of our emotions. We're transformers of energy. Every emotion contains potential for positive expression when we understand how to work with its inherent polarity. Principle 5. Rhythm, the power of natural cycles. Everything flows, out and in. Everything has its tides. All things rise and fall. From the Kybalion. The 5th principle teaches us that everything moves in cycles, including our energy, emotions, creativity, and life circumstances. Understanding rhythm means accepting that life naturally includes periods of expansion and contraction, activity and rest, giving and receiving. Instead of fighting these natural cycles, we can learn to work with them for maximum effectiveness and minimum resistance. Many people exhaust themselves by trying to maintain constant high performance. They push through their natural low energy periods and wonder why they burn out. But when you understand rhythm, you realize that rest periods aren't obstacles to productivity. They're essential parts of the creative cycle. Think about the seasons in nature. Winter isn't a failure of summer. It's a necessary period of rest and regeneration that makes spring growth possible. Your personal rhythms work the same way. Research shows that people who track their energy patterns and discovered their natural rhythms tend to have higher productivity and life satisfaction. They might have high creative energy in the morning and early afternoon, so they schedule their most important work during these times. Their energy naturally dips in mid-afternoon, so they use this time for routine tasks or rest. They may have a secondary peak in early evening, which is perfect for social activities or lighter creative work. By aligning activities with natural rhythms instead of fighting them, people typically accomplish more with less effort and feel more energized overall. Let me give you a comprehensive understanding of how rhythm operates in different areas of life. Daily rhythms. Your body has natural circadian rhythms that influence your energy, alertness, and mood throughout the day. Most people have predictable patterns of high and low energy periods. By identifying your personal daily rhythms, you can schedule your most important and challenging tasks during your peak energy times and use low energy periods for rest or routine activities. Weekly rhythms. Many people also have weekly energy patterns. You might be most creative and productive on certain days of the week and need more rest on others. Some people feel energized at the beginning of the week and need to recharge by the weekend. Others build momentum throughout the week and feel most productive toward the end. Monthly rhythms. Women often experience monthly rhythms related to their menstrual cycles, but men can also have monthly energy patterns. These longer cycles might influence creativity, emotional sensitivity, social energy, and physical strength. Seasonal rhythms. The changing seasons affect everyone's energy and mood to some degree. Spring often brings renewed energy and motivation for new projects. Summer tends to be a time of high activity and social connection. Fall is often a time for completion and preparation. Winter naturally calls for rest, reflection, and inner work. Life season rhythms. Your life also moves through longer rhythms, periods of learning and growth, followed by periods of integration and stability. You might go through phases of intense career focus, followed by periods of relationship building, or times of external expansion, followed by periods of inner development. Understanding and working with your rhythms has several practical benefits. Increased productivity. When you schedule challenging tasks during your high energy periods, you can accomplish more in less time with better quality results. Improved well-being. When you honor your need for rest and renewal, you avoid burnout and maintain sustainable energy levels. Better relationships. When you understand your social rhythms, you can engage with others when you're at your best and take space when you need to recharge. Enhanced creativity. Creative work often follows natural rhythms of inspiration and integration. By honoring these cycles, you can optimize your creative output. Reduced stress. Fighting against your natural rhythms creates stress and resistance. Working with them creates flow and ease. Here's how to identify and work with your personal rhythms. Energy tracking. For 2 weeks, rate your energy level every 2 hours on a scale of 1-10. Note patterns in your daily energy fluctuations. Also track your weekly patterns. Which days feel most energizing and which feel more draining? Activity matching. Once you identify your energy patterns, experiment with scheduling different types of activities during your natural peaks and valleys. Do creative work during high energy periods, routine tasks during medium energy periods, and rest during low energy periods. Seasonal awareness. Notice how your energy, mood, and motivation change with the seasons. Plan accordingly, perhaps starting new projects in spring, pushing hard in summer, wrapping up projects in fall, and focusing on inner work in winter. Monthly cycles. If you're a woman, track how your energy and mood change throughout your menstrual cycle. Plan important meetings, creative projects, and social activities during your high energy phases, and schedule more rest during your low energy phases. Hormonal rhythms. Both men and women have hormonal rhythms that affect energy, mood, and motivation. Men's testosterone levels are typically highest in the morning, making this a good time for challenging or important tasks. Women's hormonal cycles are more complex, but equally predictable once you track them. Here's a story that illustrates this principle. Mark was a freelance graphic designer who was constantly stressed and behind on deadlines. He was working long hours but never seemed to catch up. He felt like he was always fighting against himself. When he explored his natural rhythms, Mark discovered that he was most creative and focused between 6 p.m. and 10 p.m., but he was trying to force himself to work during traditional business hours when his energy was naturally lower. He was also pushing himself to work 7 days a week, which was exhausting him. Mark restructured his schedule to align with his natural rhythms. He did administrative tasks and client communication during the day when his energy was moderate, and saved his creative work for the evening when he was naturally most inspired. He also committed to taking 1 full day off each week for rest and renewal. The results were remarkable. Mark's creativity improved, he met deadlines more easily, and his stress levels dropped significantly. He was working fewer hours, but producing better work because he was working with his natural rhythms instead of against them. Here are some practical strategies for working with rhythm. The power of micro-rhythms. Even within your high-energy periods, you have micro-rhythms. Work for 45 to 90 minutes, then take a 10-15-minute break. This aligns with your brain's natural ultradian rhythms and prevents mental fatigue. Seasonal planning. Plan your year according to seasonal rhythms. Spring is great for starting new projects, summer for high-activity periods, fall for completion and evaluation, winter for rest and planning. Weekly rhythms. Identify your most productive days and schedule your most important work then. Use your naturally low energy days for routine tasks, planning, or rest. Energy task matching. Match your tasks to your energy levels. Do creative work when you're most inspired, analytical work when you're most focused, social activities when you're most outgoing, and rest when you're naturally tired. Rhythm respect. Don't fight against your natural rhythms. If you're in a low energy period, honor it by resting or doing gentle activities. If you're in a high energy period, take advantage of it by tackling important projects. The principle of rhythm teaches us that everything in life has natural cycles, and fighting against these cycles creates suffering. When we learn to work with our natural rhythms, daily, weekly, monthly, seasonal, and lifelong, we can achieve more with less effort and live with greater ease and flow. Principle 6. Cause and effect. The power of conscious creation. Every cause has its effect. Every effect has its cause. Everything happens according to law. Chance is but a name for law not recognized. From the Kybalion, this principle reveals that nothing happens by accident. Everything is the result of specific causes, whether we recognize them or not. This principle is both humbling and empowering. It's humbling because it means we are responsible for more of our experience than we might want to admit. It's empowering because it means we have far more control than we might have thought. Most people focus on effects, the results they're getting in their lives. But masters focus on causes, the specific thoughts, beliefs, actions, and choices that create those results. When you become conscious of the causes you're setting in motion, you can deliberately engineer better effects. Here's a story that illustrates this principle. David was frustrated with his career stagnation. He felt overlooked for promotions and undervalued by his colleagues. When we applied the principle of cause and effect, we looked at the small daily actions that might be contributing to this result. He had a habit of arriving to meetings just on time or slightly late, rarely spoke up with ideas, and didn't follow up on conversations with colleagues. These seemed like small things, but they were creating the effect of appearing disengaged and uncommitted. When he made small changes, arriving to meetings 5 minutes early, contributing one thoughtful comment or question per meeting, and sending brief follow-up emails when appropriate. Within 3 months, his visibility and reputation at work had dramatically improved, and within 6 months, he received the promotion he'd been seeking. The key insight is that small, consistent causes compound into significant effects over time. Reading 10 pages per day doesn't seem like much, but it results in 12 to 15 books per year. Saving $50 per month doesn't feel significant, but it creates a substantial emergency fund over time. Let me give you a comprehensive understanding of how cause and effect operates in different areas of life. Health and wellness. Your current health is the effect of countless small causes. The foods you eat, the amount you exercise, your sleep patterns, stress levels, and lifestyle choices. Each meal is a cause that creates effects in your body. Each workout is a cause that builds strength and endurance. Each night of quality sleep is a cause that enhances mental clarity and emotional resilience. The beautiful thing about health is that you can start creating positive effects immediately. Every healthy choice you make is a cause that begins creating beneficial effects right away. You don't have to wait for motivation or perfect conditions. You can start with one small healthy cause today. Relationships. The quality of your relationships is the effect of countless small causes. How you communicate, how you listen, how you show appreciation, how you handle conflicts, and how you invest time and energy in others. Each conversation is a cause that either strengthens or weakens your relationships. People often want better relationships, but focus on trying to change others instead of changing the causes they're contributing. When you focus on being a better listener, showing more appreciation, or being more emotionally available, you create effects that improve all your relationships. Financial success. Your financial situation is the effect of countless small causes. How you spend money, how you save, how you invest, how you develop your skills, and how you create value for others. Each financial decision is a cause that either moves you toward or away from financial freedom. Many people want better financial results but focus on the effects, more money instead of the causes, value creation, skill development, wise spending, consistent saving. When you focus on the causes, the effects naturally follow. Career development. Your career trajectory is the effect of countless small causes. How you perform in your current role, how you network, how you develop skills, how you add value to your organization, and how you position yourself for opportunities. People often feel frustrated with their career progress, but focus on external factors instead of the causes they can control. When you focus on consistently delivering excellent work, building valuable relationships, and continuously developing your skills, career advancement becomes a natural effect. Personal growth. Your level of personal development is the effect of countless small causes. What you read, what you learn, what you practice, how you reflect on your experiences, and how you implement new insights. Small daily causes in personal growth compound dramatically over time. Reading for 20 minutes per day, journaling for 10 minutes, or practicing a new skill for 30 minutes might seem insignificant, but these small causes create profound effects over months and years. Here's a powerful framework for applying cause and effect. The cause and effect audit. 1. Choose one area of your life where you want different results. 2. Identify the current effects you're experiencing. 3. List all the possible causes that might be contributing to these effects. 4. Take responsibility for the causes you can control. 5. Design new causes that would logically create the effects you want. 6. Implement these new causes consistently. Monitor the effects and adjust your causes as needed. For example, if you want better health. 1. Current effects: low energy, excess weight, poor sleep. Possible causes: poor diet, lack of exercise, stress, irregular sleep schedule. 3. Controllable causes: what you eat, when you exercise, how you manage stress. 4. New causes: eat vegetables with every meal, walk 30 minutes daily, practice relaxation before bed. 5. Implement consistently for 30 days. 6. Monitor energy levels, weight, and sleep quality. 7. Adjust as needed based on results. The key to mastering cause and effect is to become conscious of the causes you're setting in motion every day. Most people operate unconsciously, creating causes without considering their likely effects. Masters operate consciously, choosing causes that align with their desired outcomes. Here are some practical strategies for working with cause and effect. The power of micro-causes. Focus on tiny causes that you can implement consistently. 5 minutes of meditation daily is better than 1 hour of meditation weekly. 1 page of reading daily is better than reading for 3 hours occasionally. Cause tracking. Keep a simple log of the causes you're setting in motion in important areas of your life. Track your daily habits, choices, and actions. This awareness alone will help you make better choices. Effect monitoring. Pay attention to the effects of your causes. If you're not getting the results you want, examine the causes you're creating. Are they aligned with your desired outcomes? Compound thinking. Remember that small causes compound over time. A 1% improvement daily leads to 37x improvement over a year. Don't underestimate the power of small, consistent causes. Cause responsibility. Take full responsibility for the causes you can control and let go of trying to control effects directly. You can't force specific outcomes, but you can choose the causes that make those outcomes more likely. System design. Create systems that make positive causes automatic. Set up your environment to support the causes you want to create. For example, if you want to eat healthier, stock your kitchen with healthy foods and remove tempting junk food. Research in psychology shows that people who focus on process goals, causes, rather than outcome goals, effects, tend to be more successful and satisfied. When you focus on the daily actions that create success, rather than just the end result, you're more likely to achieve your goals and enjoy the journey. The principle of cause and effect teaches us that we're not victims of random circumstances. We're creators of our experience through the causes we set in motion. By becoming conscious of our causes and choosing them deliberately, we can engineer virtually any effect we desire. Principle 7. Gender, the power of creative balance. Gender is in everything. Everything has its masculine and feminine principles. Gender manifests on all planes. From the Kybalion. The final principle teaches us about the fundamental creative forces in the universe, not biological gender, but the energetic principles that work together to create all manifestation. The masculine principle is focused, directed, active, analytical, goal-oriented, structured, and decisive. The feminine principle is receptive, intuitive, nurturing, creative, flowing, flexible, and collaborative. Both are essential for creation, and both exist within every person regardless of biological gender. Most people overdevelop one principle at the expense of the other, which limits their creative potential. In our achievement-oriented culture, many people become overly masculine, constantly doing, pushing, forcing, analyzing. They burn out because they're missing the feminine qualities of receiving, allowing, intuiting, and being. Others become overly feminine, always in flow but never focusing, always open to possibilities but never committing to specific goals. They feel scattered and don't manifest their visions into reality. The key is developing both principles and learning when to apply each one. There are times when you need masculine energy, setting clear goals, making firm decisions, taking decisive action, maintaining boundaries. There are times when you need feminine energy, listening to your intuition, allowing solutions to emerge, nurturing your dreams, staying open to unexpected opportunities. Research in creativity shows that the most innovative and successful people integrate both logical, analytical thinking with intuitive, holistic awareness. They can plan strategically and also trust their instincts. They can take decisive action and also remain flexible and adaptive. Let me give you a comprehensive understanding of how these principles operate. The masculine principle includes goal setting and strategic planning, linear thinking and logical analysis, taking decisive action, maintaining focus and discipline, creating structure and systems, making firm decisions, defending boundaries, competing and achieving, leading and directing, organizing and categorizing. The feminine principle includes intuitive knowing and wisdom, circular thinking and synthesis, allowing and receiving, maintaining flow and flexibility, creating connection and collaboration, staying open to possibilities, nurturing growth and development, cooperating and harmonizing, supporting and empowering, feeling and experiencing. Neither principle is superior to the other. They're complementary forces that work together to create balanced, sustainable success. Here's how they apply in different areas of life: business and career. Successful businesses require both masculine and feminine principles. The masculine provides structure, strategy, goals, and decisive action. The feminine provides creativity, intuition, relationship building, and adaptability. Companies that are overly masculine become rigid and disconnected from their customers. Companies that are overly feminine become chaotic and ineffective. Relationships. Healthy relationships require both principles from both partners, regardless of gender. The masculine provides stability, protection, direction, and commitment. The feminine provides emotional connection, intuition, nurturing, and flexibility. Relationships suffer when one or both partners are disconnected from either principle. Creative projects. All creative work requires both principles. The masculine provides discipline, structure, deadlines, and the drive to complete projects. The feminine provides inspiration, intuition, artistic vision, and the ability to receive creative downloads. Artists who are overly masculine produce technically skilled but uninspired work. Artists who are overly feminine have great ideas but struggle to complete projects. Personal growth. Effective personal development requires both principles. The masculine provides goals, discipline, structure, and the drive to improve. The feminine provides intuition, self-compassion, patience, and the ability to receive insights. People who are overly masculine in their growth become rigid and self-critical. People who are overly feminine become wishy-washy and don't make real changes. Problem solving. The best solutions come from engaging both principles. The masculine analyzes the problem, gathers data, and develops logical solutions. The feminine intuits the deeper issues, considers emotional factors, and allows creative solutions to emerge. Using only one principle leads to incomplete solutions. Leadership. Great leaders embody both principles. They can be decisive and strong when needed, masculine, and also empathetic and collaborative when appropriate, feminine. They can set clear direction and also remain open to input and new possibilities. Here's how to develop and balance both principles. Developing your masculine principle. Set clear, specific goals with deadlines. Create structured plans and systems. Practice making decisions quickly and confidently. Maintain focus on your priorities. Take decisive action even when you don't feel ready. Establish and maintain healthy boundaries. Develop logical thinking and analytical skills. Practice leadership and direction setting. Developing your feminine principle. Cultivate intuition through meditation and reflection. Practice receiving help, compliments, and support. Allow solutions to emerge without forcing them. Stay open to unexpected opportunities and possibilities. Develop emotional intelligence and empathy. Practice collaboration and cooperation. Nurture your creative and artistic sides. Learn to go with the flow and adapt to change. Balancing both principles, start each day by setting clear intentions, masculine, and remaining open to how they might unfold, feminine. Take decisive action toward your goals, masculine, while staying flexible about the methods, feminine. Plan your projects thoroughly, masculine, but leave room for creative inspiration, feminine. Here's a story that illustrates this principle. When starting a new business, you can apply both principles. Masculine approach. Research the market, develop a business plan, set financial goals, create systems and processes, establish a clear brand identity, take decisive action to launch, measure results analytically, and push through obstacles with determination. Feminine approach. Trust your intuitive sense about the business opportunity. Stay open to how the business might evolve. Build authentic relationships with customers. Remain flexible about strategies. Nurture the business like a living entity. Allow the brand to develop organically, and trust the timing of opportunities. Integrated approach. Combine both by doing thorough research while trusting your intuition about the opportunity. Create solid business plans while remaining flexible about execution. Set clear goals while staying open to unexpected opportunities. Build systems while maintaining authentic relationships. Take decisive action while allowing for organic growth. Here's a powerful exercise for developing gender balance. The Gender Balance Assessment. 1. Rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 for each principle in different areas of your life. 2. Identify which principle you tend to overuse and which you tend to underuse. 3. Choose one area where you'd like better balance. 4. Design specific practices to develop your weaker principle. 5. Practice integrating both principles in daily situations. For example, if you tend to be overly masculine in relationships, practice listening without trying to solve problems. Ask more questions about feelings and experiences. Allow your partner to influence decisions. Show appreciation and emotional support. Stay open to your partner's ideas and perspectives. If you tend to be overly feminine in your career, set specific, measurable goals with deadlines. Make decisions more quickly and confidently. Speak up more assertively in meetings. Take initiative on projects. Maintain clear boundaries around your time and energy. The principle of gender teaches us that sustainable success requires both creative forces working in harmony. By developing both your masculine and feminine principles, you become a more complete, effective, and balanced person, capable of creating lasting positive change in your life and the world. Integration, bringing all 7 principles together. Now that we've explored each principle individually, let's talk about how they work together as a complete system for conscious living. These principles aren't separate concepts. They're different aspects of how consciousness creates reality. When you understand and apply all 7 together, you become a conscious co-creator of your life experience. Think of the 7 principles as 7 different lenses for understanding and working with reality. Each lens reveals different aspects of how life works, and together they give you a complete picture of the creative process. Mentalism reminds you that it all starts with consciousness and mental states. Everything begins in mind. Your thoughts, beliefs, and mental images are the seeds of your reality. Correspondence shows you how inner and outer reality mirror each other. Your external world is a reflection of your internal world, giving you constant feedback about your mental and emotional states. Vibration teaches you to consciously choose your energetic frequency. Your vibrational state determines what you attract and experience, and you have the power to raise your vibration at any moment. Polarity gives you tools for emotional mastery and transformation. Instead of being at the mercy of your emotions, you can learn to transmute them into their positive expressions. Rhythm helps you work with natural cycles rather than against them. By aligning with your natural rhythms and life's larger cycles, you can achieve more with less effort. Cause and effect empowers you to focus on what you can control. By becoming conscious of the causes you're setting in motion, you can engineer the effects you desire. Gender helps you balance and integrate all aspects of your creative power. By developing both masculine and feminine principles, you become a complete, balanced creator. Here's how to integrate all 7 principles into a daily practice. Morning integration practice, 10-15 minutes. 1. Mentalism. Set clear intentions for your day and choose empowering thoughts. Correspondence. Visualize your external day reflecting your highest inner state. 3. Vibration. Raise your energy through gratitude, movement, or uplifting music. 4. Polarity. If you notice any negative emotions, consciously move them towards their positive pole. 5. Rhythm. Check in with your natural energy patterns and plan your day accordingly. 6. Cause and effect. Choose 3 specific actions that will create the results you want. 7. Gender. Balance focused action with receptive flow throughout your day. Evening integration practice, 5 to 10 minutes. 1. Mentalism. Review your mental state throughout the day and choose empowering thoughts for tomorrow. Correspondence. Notice how your external experiences reflected your internal states. Vibration. Reflect on your vibrational state and identify what raised or lowered it. 4. Polarity. Celebrate any successful emotional transmutations you made. 5. Rhythm. Acknowledge your natural energy patterns and plan accordingly for tomorrow. 6. Cause and effect. Review the causes you set in motion and their effects. 7. Gender. Reflect on how you balanced masculine and feminine principles. The power of principle integration. When you work with all 7 principles together, they create a synergistic effect that's more powerful than any single principle alone. For example, mentalism provides the vision and intention. Correspondence helps you align inner and outer reality. Vibration ensures you're in the right energetic state. Polarity helps you transform obstacles into opportunities. Rhythm ensures you're working with natural timing. Cause and effect helps you take the right actions. Gender ensures you're balanced and sustainable in your approach. Here's a story that illustrates this principle. Someone applying all 7 principles to manifest a specific goal, starting a successful online business. Mentalism. They would begin by creating a clear mental vision of their successful business, including specific details about their products, customers, and impact. They would regularly visualize their business thriving and feel the emotions of success. Correspondence. They would examine how their relationship with business mirrors their relationship with themselves. If they want to serve others, they'd ensure they're serving themselves well. If they want to be trusted by customers, they'd work on trusting themselves. Vibration. They would maintain a high vibrational state of excitement, confidence, and service. They'd avoid low vibration states of fear, doubt, and scarcity, using tools like gratitude and visualization to stay aligned. Polarity. When they encounter fear about starting the business, they'd transmute it into excitement about the possibilities. When they feel frustrated with slow progress, they'd transform it into passionate determination. Rhythm. They would work with their natural energy patterns, doing creative work during high energy periods and administrative tasks during medium energy periods. They'd also consider seasonal rhythms and launch timing. Cause and effect. They would focus on the specific daily actions that create business success, content creation, customer service, product development, marketing, rather than just hoping for success. Gender. They would balance masculine planning and action with feminine intuition and flow. They'd create structured business plans while remaining open to creative inspiration and unexpected opportunities. By integrating all 7 principles, they would approach their business creation from a place of wholeness and alignment, dramatically increasing their chances of success. Your personal transformation journey. As you begin applying these principles, remember that transformation is a gradual process. You don't need to master all 7 principles immediately. Instead, focus on one principle at a time while maintaining awareness of the others. Start with the principle that resonates most strongly with you right now. Perhaps mentalism speaks to your need for greater mental clarity, or vibration appeals to your desire for more positive experiences. Work with that principle consistently for a week or 2, then gradually incorporate the others. Keep a journal of your experiences with each principle. Notice how they affect your thoughts, emotions, and external circumstances. Pay attention to which principles you find easiest to apply and which ones challenge you most. Remember that these principles are tools for conscious living, not rigid rules. Adapt them to your unique circumstances and personality. The goal isn't perfect application, it's conscious application that gradually transforms your life experience. Most importantly, be patient with yourself. These principles represent thousands of years of accumulated wisdom, and integrating them into your daily life takes time and practice. Each small step you take toward conscious living is valuable and contributes to your overall transformation. The ancient masters who first articulated these principles understood that true wisdom isn't just intellectual knowledge, it's embodied understanding that comes through consistent practice. You now have the knowledge. Your journey of embodiment begins today. Conclusion: your journey as a conscious creator. As we conclude this comprehensive exploration of the 7 Hermetic Principles, I want you to understand that you've just received one of the most complete systems for conscious living ever developed. These principles have been tested by countless individuals throughout history, and they work when applied consistently. But knowledge without application is just entertainment. The real transformation happens when you take these principles and integrate them into your daily life. You are far more powerful than you've been taught to believe, and these 7 principles are your keys to unlocking that power. Let me leave you with some specific next steps for implementation. Week 1. Focus on mentalism. Spend 10 minutes each morning visualizing your ideal day and 10 minutes each evening visualizing your ideal future. Notice how this affects your thoughts, emotions, and experiences throughout the day. Week 2. Add correspondence. Begin looking for ways your external experiences mirror your internal states. When you encounter challenges, ask yourself, how might this be reflecting something internal that needs attention? Week 3. Incorporate vibration. Start paying attention to your vibrational state throughout the day. Create a toolkit of practices that reliably raise your frequency, and use them whenever you notice yourself in a low vibration state. Week 4. Practice polarity. When you experience challenging emotions, practice transmuting them into their positive expressions. Remember that you're not trying to eliminate negative emotions, you're learning to transform them. Week 5. Align with rhythm. Begin tracking your natural energy patterns and scheduling your activities accordingly. Honor your need for rest and renewal as much as your need for activity and productivity. Week 6. Apply cause and effect. Focus on the specific daily actions that create the results you want. Stop focusing on effects you can't control and start focusing on causes you can influence. Week 7. Balance gender. Identify whether you tend to be overly masculine or overly feminine in your approach to life, and practice developing your weaker principle. Week 8 and beyond. Begin integrating all 7 principles into a daily practice. Use the morning and evening integration practices I shared earlier, and continue refining your understanding through consistent application. Remember, this is a lifelong journey of conscious development. You'll continue discovering new applications and deeper understanding of these principles as you grow and evolve. The key is to remain consistent and patient with yourself. Keep a journal of your experiences with these principles. Notice patterns, celebrate successes, and learn from challenges. Share your journey with others who are also committed to conscious living. Teaching these principles to others will deepen your own understanding. Most importantly, trust yourself. You have everything you need to transform your life using these ancient tools. You are a conscious being with the power to create your reality through the application of universal principles. These principles aren't just concepts to think about. They're tools to live by. They've guided humanity's greatest minds and most successful individuals throughout history. Now they're available to guide you on your own journey of conscious creation. The universe is mental, and you are its co-creator. The patterns of reality are consistent at all levels, and you can learn to work with them consciously. Everything vibrates, and you can choose your frequency. Everything has polarity, and you can transform any experience. Everything moves in rhythms, and you can align with them for greater flow. Everything operates by cause and effect, and you can choose your causes consciously. Everything contains both masculine and feminine principles, and you can balance them for sustainable success. You now have the keys to conscious creation. Use them wisely, use them consistently, and watch as your life transforms in ways you never thought possible. Your journey as a conscious creator begins now. Thank you for joining me on this comprehensive exploration of the 7 Hermetic Principles. If this presentation has served you, please share it with others who might benefit from this ancient wisdom. Subscribe to MindAlchemy Growth Forge for more practical guidance on conscious living and personal transformation. But before you go, I have a few important requests that will help both you and our growing community of conscious creators. First, if this deep dive into the 7 Hermetic Principles has provided you with valuable insights and practical tools for transformation, please hit the like button below. Your likes tell YouTube that this content is valuable and helps us reach more people who are ready for this ancient wisdom. Second, make sure to subscribe to MindAlchemy Growth Forge and ring the notification bell. We are building something truly special here, a community of conscious creators who are actively applying these principles to transform their lives. When you subscribe, you'll never miss our weekly deep dives into practical spirituality, consciousness tools, and real-world applications of ancient wisdom. Third, and this is the most important part, I want to hear from you in the comments below. Tell me which of the 7 Hermetic Principles resonated most deeply with you today. Was it mentalism and the power of consciousness? Correspondence and the mirror of your inner world? Vibration and choosing your frequency? Polarity and transmuting challenging emotions? Rhythm and aligning with natural cycles? Cause and effect and focusing on what you can control? Or gender and balancing your inner masculine and feminine energies? Even more specifically, share with our community which aspect of your life you're most excited to transform using these principles. Are you ready to apply mentalism to create a new career? Use correspondence to heal your relationships? Raise your vibration to attract better opportunities? Apply polarity to transform stress into strength? Work with rhythm to optimize your productivity? Use cause and effect to build better habits? Or balance gender to enhance your creativity and manifestation abilities? Your comments create a powerful field of shared intention and inspiration. When you share your insights and commitments, you're not just helping yourself. You're contributing to the collective consciousness of our community and inspiring others on their journey. Fourth, share this video with someone who you know is ready for this level of conscious living. Maybe it's a friend who's been asking deeper questions about reality, a family member who's going through challenges, or a colleague who's interested in personal development. These principles have the power to transform lives, but only if people know about them. Finally, if you're ready to go even deeper, check out the description below for additional resources, recommended books, and links to our exclusive community where we dive deeper into practical applications of these principles. Remember, you are the author of your own reality. Write your story consciously and make it a masterpiece. The universe is waiting for your unique contribution to the grand symphony of existence. The principles are yours. The power is yours. The choice is yours. Create consciously. Live purposefully. Transform continuously. This is your time. This is your opportunity. This is your invitation to become the conscious creator you were born to be. I'll see you in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video where we'll explore advanced applications of these principles for rapid transformation. Until then, keep applying what you've learned, keep growing, and keep creating the reality you truly desire. Welcome to your new reality.